and we're on the porch.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully out there. In
actually,
land.
ever since we went to the Ethernet and hardwired, we're doing pretty good on that. Yep, we're on the porch. We're doing good.
Good stuff. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good to have you here on Tuesday and be a part of our world here on the porch, on the southern porch here.
So as I start sharing this, Roger, what's been going on in your life?
Well, I think it's a kind of a day-to-day, as we talked about before. My wife is going on a weekend with her high school friends that are very proactive and goal-oriented and forward thinkers. And it's almost, like going to a beauty spa. She comes back, she's happier, she's more motivated, she's more focused. And, I think that's very powerful. So I'm really excited. And where I would have thought, oh, don't leave me here. And I'm really go, be a part. I'm an incredible cheerleader for that because I've seen the benefits of it. This is like the 5th time she's done that. And I love it. And I love the women she goes with. And she always comes back, again, forward focused. And I love that. I think that's just incredible. And so I'd say that's at the corner of my life right now is focusing on her, going down to Hilton Head and being part of that crowd, enjoying that crowd.
Well, you're up here in Greenville.
Right, well spot. But, it really shows the power of the right crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think we hear a lot about that when we're young, what crowd you're with. But I think we move away from that as we get older. And I think that's not a good thing. I think we need to find like spirits, like focused people to connect up with and have an event in which that we're a part of.
Yeah.
And I think that was more of the old days. And, people don't do that as much. They're just so singularly focused. And I think that's to the detriment. I think what happens when you're singularly focused, you get tired of yourself and you kind of dissipate in your energy, and that you only gain a certain level of energy, a certain focus by being around other people who remind you of what was important to you years ago, what you looking for years ago, and saying, hey, let's get back on track. Let's, I think that it's easy as we're coming into football season for people to rest on their laurels of saying, well, we're great, this is going. And when people do that, then usually right after that, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Their power goes down. They lose their focus. They lose their commitment. They lose that spark. And I think that's important. I think it's important to have an internal spark in you to help you move forward.
We were also going to talk about, you came in with a great idea about speed and what is that doing to our society. And, as you're bringing this up as far as connection and connect. And I remember when I first moved to Greenville back in the 80s, long before internet and cell phones and everything, it was very common to go to work, and then after work, so the guys at work would go out and play racquetball, and you still seem like you had time in life.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't afford that now. We're being sold a message, Rick. Speed, good, relaxing, bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think of, kind of in defense of seasoning. I think of good meat as seasoned meat. And so letting something season in your life, I believe used to be something of value. And now it's kind of presented as something's wrong with you if you do that. And you won't do good. And that really, throws a flag out there for me. I gotta go, oh, yeah, right, there we go.
So that means that's why we see high levels of stress, anxiety, depression.
Yeah, you can, it's one thing to jog around the track when you're 18. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm jogging around, here we go, this is going good. But every year that track jog, is a little tougher. And what has actually happened, which really, really concerns me, is not only are we going around the track every year and the age having a factor, but now every time you go around the next one, you're supposed to get faster.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to get better. And technology and medication and everything's supposed to help you up your speed. And then you're sold the faster you are, the better you are. And the more successful you'll be. And that's just a lie. It's just a lie. And so we have people out there, and I think you mentioned it, of being so anxious, so stressed, so burnt out, you know. And I heard the other day, and I loved it. They said the majority of people in society are not burnout, they're browned out. And I said, browned out? They said, yeah, they're like toast. You know, they're put in society, they're fried till they're brown, and they don't burn. They just get toasted up, and then it ejects them for a minute. You scrape off the brownness of the bread and put it back in the toaster again. And so we're kind of this reprocessed toasted bread life. And I thought, there it is. It's just amazing how many people, as it relates to speed, are browned out in life. And then they wonder, you know, why am I having problems with the marriage? Why am I having problems with my job? Why am I having problems with my kids? It's because, you know, you just can't continually keep scraping bread and the bread hold up.
Yeah.
It's going to start tearing in a minute, start tearing up. And that's what happens in people's lives. You know, they've just been scraped too much in their marriage, scraped too much of their job. They're scraped up and they're like, goodness.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of at the core of what we're talking about, you know, in defense of seasoning. You know, that speed is not necessarily better. You don't do better at a speed, trying to increase your speed. You know, I think there's a level in which you can reasonably and comfortably speed your life up, and it works. And I think internally you know that. You know that. You're doing it, okay, I'm a little faster, I can maintain this. But I think people, you know, again, one of my favorite songs is Jackson Browne's Running on Empty.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know, here I was running on empty, and I looked at my friends, and they were running on empty too. And I thought, man, you could preach that. You could preach that. You know, we're all out there running on empty, looking at other people. They're running on empty too. So somehow that makes it okay.
Right. Or again, try to keep, because we are living in a society that we know is challenged with sleep deprivation, is challenged with lack of energy. The body is designed that when we get under stress for a limited amount of times, the cortisol is released. But unfortunately, we now become where we're so stressed out, we don't give that a cortisol chance to break the cycle and then let the healthy neurotransmitters start working. And so we're, yes, again, which means we don't have the ability to fight depression, fight the anxiety by the natural self.
Yes. And I think certain things in life come from slowing down. You know, and we have kind of two philosophies running out there. We have one philosophy is, you know, meditate your belly button, and the other is run like a jackrabbit. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing one, oh man, you don't want to do that. And if you do that, oh, you don't want to do that either. And so you're torn between the two. And so you have kind of camps. A camp that says you need to meditate, and they meditate, you know, for days. And then there's others that run for days. And they, oh, look all I've achieved from running. You know, and it just, I think it is tearing and that's why we're bringing it up on the porch today. I think it's tearing people up. I just think it's tearing people up. I don't think life was meant to be, you know, viewing your navel at an exorbitant amount. And I certainly don't believe running is the answer, because I think you and I have seen people that we ran with long ago at today, they ain't running at all. They ran right in the grave. You know, and the one thing they were asking, and I've seen this over and over, that they wish they had more time, more of is time.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't do for more time. And that I need more time. And my thought is, why didn't you use the time you had when you had it? Well, no, I was busy. I had to keep going.
Mhm.
I had to keep chasing the carrot. I'd like to train donkey.
Yeah. 20 years ago, if you asked people, they would say that their thing that the margin they had lack of was money, which is still relevant today. But number one today is the margin they're lacking most of today is time. That is now taken number one.
Right, and one of the things we talked about right before we started the show was the connection between time and quality.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when people are speed and quality, is that when people speed up stuff, a lot of times the way they do it is they diminish quality. And they don't even see that dance. I can remember when they came out with drive-through eating. And people were like, oh man, I can grab it in my car, I get it, and I go. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And, you're trying to eat in the car, and but that what they found is the quality of the food served was sacrificed to get it out the door.
So you're trying to tell me that a fast food burger has less quality than one I do on my grill that I take time to prepare?
yeah, all you gotta do is eat one to know that. I tell you, there's a place here in Greenville that's like the old soda shop on Main Street. And it's just like the old days. And you go there and you sit and they cook the food. It's just a burger and fries place. But man, it tastes wonderful. It's got depth to it. It's got texture to it. And so I love that. And there's no driving. You don't drive up, grab it. You go in, you order it, you sit down, you eat, and that is a marvelous meal. That is a marvelous meal. But it is not the path that they're saying to make it. That again, we have lately connected making it, being successful with the speed of it.
Mm-hmm.
The faster you can go, the more successful you're going to be. And be damned the quality. Don't care. Let's get it done. I don't care how we do it. Let's get it done. Let's get it done fast. Let's close it up. Get the period at the end of the sentence.
And that's because our society also accepts it. We accept lesser quality for quicker access to it. Yeah, I'll take less quality because I can get in and out of a fast food joint fast.
Right, and
sometimes.
Well, and the thing is, Rick, what's happening is we're coming at a saturational point of that. You can't get it any faster. And so what we're hearing a lot of is complaints about the quality of the food. And people are expecting to have all this quality and speed.
Yeah.
And people used to sell that, but people today know that's hooey. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. And, as I said, I had a pastor who wrote a little article about almost getting run over downtown. And he was following the rules. He's going the crossroad way, and it was all marked out, and there are rules of the road. But the person in the car was just trying to get from point A to point B as fast as they could. And, they could have easily killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every day people do get killed like that. I can remember when I lived in Atlanta and a mother came to see her daughter in Atlanta and stepped off the curb and a car hit and killed her.
Mm-hmm.
And oops, I'm sorry, but at that point, it's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late.
Well,
you couldn't bring her mother back.
But that's where the concept of speed and quiet time is. How many videos do you see on YouTube or Facebook where people are look at their iPhones or walking into lakes or water fountains or into doors. And we have become that. Now, I think we're talking about, you got me thinking about something. One thing, my big soapbox, and we'll probably take Southern Porch Life on the road one day, is when you walk into these fast food restaurants and you see these pictures of this great looking food.
Yeah.
And-
Oh man.
And then what you get, then what you
they're
get.
doing this burger like this, and you go and it's like it's all smashed together.
And I don't know
Oh,
why that's not
God.
considered false advertising.
That is great. I can't tell you how many people say, I only want one thing, the burger on the picture.
Picture, yeah.
And that burger on the picture only exists
It's some
in the
advertising behind it.
studio,
Yeah,
where they took a lot of time.
Mhm.
Nothing's more interesting than watching photography of food.
Mhm.
I mean, hours they spend. You know, they get the right color and do everything in the right shade and to present it. You know, as this advertising, and you go there and it's a smash gray, you know, thrown on stuff, and you know that's and again, I think we're coming to the point, especially in fast food. I think we're coming to a saturation point in which they've discovered all the ways initially to do it fast. You know, we'll do it this way. We've got this mechanism that'll do it this way, but they never stop the desire for fast.
Mhm.
They never stop the thought that success and speed were interconnected. And so now they're just continuing faster. And I see a whole generation going up in what we call slow walking. You know, I'm not in any hurry. And my brother, I love my brother, older brother said, you know, it's near impossible to supervise fast food employees because they can take their tag off and walk down the street, put somebody else's tag on and go to work today.
Yeah, in our economy, that's true. Yeah, you see help one. It's not. In fact, I know one or two franchise owners that's their biggest challenge is finding people that are wanting and willing to work and do it right.
Well, yeah,
in the
you
fast
know,
food industry.
and I think you and I can easily remember when the fast food burger first came out. I don't want to mention which franchise, but boy, it was clean. It was nice. They were upbeat. They were progressive. And now, I can only think of one company that you pretty much walk in and you feel like, okay, they want me here. The place is clean. The place is nice. The people that serve me are focused on me. But that's changed. And, you know, the one thing I guess I look back on is how long are they going to be able to do that to where they're out of business?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very tough to compete because people are willing to put up with less quality in themselves. Not only in what they eat, what they do, but in themselves. And it's all about getting it done. But this thought that I can do it faster at the same quality, I think is a myth. I think it's a myth, Rick.
Yeah.
I think that's something people sold as to make them more valuable. I can do it faster, and at the same quality. And my thought is later down the road, no, our quality has pummeled with speed. You know, we have much more speed in our communication, and you and I will know people communicate less.
Mm-hmm.
They understand each other less. You know, we've got down to one format only uses 14 words.
No, it used to be 140. I think they upped Twitter to 280. They doubled it.
Oh, they moved it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
that was. I just thought that word that seemed, and they were like, "Wow, that's great." If you say something in so many words, I saw a thing on Facebook that says, "Nothing bothers me more than to Facebook or to Twitter somebody and they call me back." I was like, "Wow!" And I'm old there because I don't like to just do everything by message. It's so impersonal, and I'm thinking. There's so many ways you can read something and interpret it.
Well, we know in basic communication exactly to get the full message, you have to be active in all the five senses we have. You have to see it, you have to hear it, you have to see the body language,
Yeah.
you have to hear the tone of the voice.
Oh, I can't believe how important tone is, Rick. I mean, that just amazes me because there's no tone in the written word. It's just flat. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's that old story. A bunch of guys are at the local bar talking about going to Myrtle Beach for the weekend
Right.
to play golf. And one of the guys says, well, let me go call my wife and see, we got to plan or if it'd be okay. And he calls his wife and says, hon, the guys are thinking about going to Myrtle Beach this weekend. What do you think? She says, oh, that's just great. You go to Myrtle Beach and you have a great time, and I'll see you when you get home.
Yeah, they're like sarcasm, man.
Well, then he hangs up and goes back to the guy and says, well, what did she say? She said, well, that's great. We're going to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Oh, she can't wait till I get home, man. She's 100% behind that. Yeah. Oh, God, that's so true.
So we also filter our messages, too. We got to know how to filter our messages. And without all five senses involved, we are filtering the wrong way. We're delivering the wrong way.
Well, and I tell you, another thing that brings up to me, Rick, is listening at speed. It seems that the faster things get, the harder it is for people to listen. And so when things are done real fast, what you get is, I think they said phrase. I think they said, when in fact, I was moving so fast, I couldn't catch but about every third word. We're like speed listening. I'm only going to hear every third word, and then I'm going to come up with a message. And that's where, again, there's so much miscommunication in that. We're just doing it so fast. We're just go, and I think that's to our detriment, that we don't let people be okay with being okay.
And we've got to understand that communication is a true skill set. That if you're lucky, you might have one communication course in college, and if you go through the work we've done through the council and so forth, you have some more communication courses. But even the skill set of knowing, there's different types of listening. There's active listening. There's what they call small talk listening. And small talk listening is in the morning, you and your wife are talking about what's going on today. Oh, not much. Maybe I'll go pick this up when I run over by Aldi's or something. And that's fine. But when needs to be active listening, that's when you need to say, is this a good time to talk about?
Right.
And if they
be very, very focused. And again, part of what I'm saying there, Rick, is it takes time to have active listening.
Exactly.
You've got to jack down the speed to get it right.
And you got to slow your mind down so you're actually listening to what's being said. And again, we teach them the skill set that we don't call it parenting, but you reflect back as to so you're saying, or what I heard you say. I know some people don't like that. I heard said. I don't like the parenting side, but you do let the person delivering the message know that you are understanding, and if you give it back or you're not understanding completely, that gives them a chance to deliver the message. But we have to slow down. Most people listen for rebuttal and to shoot back.
Yeah. Well, they're getting into what I call debate listening. Is what they're doing. They're really debating someone, and so they're listening
for that rebuttal
and the faster and it's easy to rebut when you up the speed. That can fluster a lot of people, and people see that, and so I throw things out there, ideas out there, and all of a sudden what you got on your hands is a huge misunderstanding. And what you would consider, this is my normal way of interacting, is really dysfunctional. It's not the right thing to do. It's not honorable.
Yeah.
And I think there's another thing. It's hard to have honorability and speed. I think you have to slow it down. When you slow down, you're really placing honor in the moment of saying what you have to say has worth. I will honor you by letting it slow down and get it. And some people just jack up their lives so much, speed it up so much, they're impossible to be married to. I mean, there are people I've been around that I don't know how anybody can be married to them. I'm like, Yeah, you don't need a lawyer. You need an attorney. I mean, you don't need a therapist. You need an attorney. This is there's just no way this can go. Well, I'm looking for him to do this, and the other person said, "Oh, I'm not willing to do what you got to do to give you what you need." I'm like, okay. And then I'm back to old Dr. Phil. How's that working for you?
And the good news is, though, what we're talking about now are skill sets that can be learned, unless someone is truly diagnosed with a mental health issue that just does not give them the facilities to learn and to communicate. Learning how to listen, learning how to how to talk, learning how to understand issues, learning how to come to collaborative resolutions are skill sets that are teachable and learnable if someone is motivated. And that's the whole key. Nothing happens in life unless somebody is motivated to learn or change a behavior that they don't like. But once we have that motivation for behavioral change, we can learn to be a better listener or a better communicator of issues.
Well, and one of the things we say in couples is people believing this is the way I was at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same person at 28. I'm the same person at 38. I'm the same person at 48, 58. And the truth is, no, you're not.
Or if you are, that's a sad commentary to that person.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that indirectly affect us is we have normalized the increasement of speed. We've made things being faster, that's our new normal. And it does seem like we're the same when in fact we're absolutely not the same. And I love, one of the things I hear from older people is the phrase, if I would have talked to my parents the way these kids talk to their parents, that would have knocked me across the room. Yeah, but that they are you, and you are your parents. We've let speed creep in, and this is what you have to do. This is how you have to operate to keep it at that speed. And you don't see how and I guess that's the reason for the show. We're trying to say to people, that's detrimental. That's not good. That is harmful in so many things in your life. And you may think you're getting ahead, but no. Sure, you're throwing burgers out there fast, but what are you having to do with the quality is the example we're using. And everybody out there knows you're not getting the same quality as you did years ago if you're older. You just do not. When you used to walk up to the counter and get a burger, and the way you walk up and get a burger now, the level of speed you're using, wow, it's totally different, Rick. It's just not the same thing. And so what we're willing to put up with, well, again, I think we're coming to a saturation point of it's been okay for this society for quality to go down, to go down, to go down, and be sacrificed on the altar of speed. But I think we're coming to a place where we don't want that we're willing for it to be done slower to get better.
We had an example of that years ago. Domino's used to have that 30 minutes or less in the pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
Us, but then they found out too many of their drivers were getting in accidents. So they said, we can.
Right.
And so we do see that speed is not always better. But unfortunately, we're seeing this also transfer to other industries out there because we are an instant gratification society today. You and I have talked about this in the past where, you and I are old enough to remember that on a Friday afternoon, you could get away from the office and literally get away from the office.
Oh, man.
No voicemail, no text pagers or whatever. And today, people literally have an expectation of you. They text you, they email you, they call you, that there's going to be a return call within minutes. And if you don't, then you get another text or email saying, I haven't heard from you about the text I sent you 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and that's another, Rick. I love you using that example because I think that's another great example of a loss of quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that having time to yourself was quality. I think having time alone was quality. And we sacrificed that. If you would have told somebody 20 years ago, You can come work for this company, but I'm going to own you. You're going to be here. You're going to be available 24/7. Well, people would have gone, well, heck no. No, man, I got to have some time. And now, can you imagine anybody getting in industry today that, one of the first things I ask, you got a cell phone. And we want you to have it on all the time. And if we text you or call you, we want you to be available. And we don't care if you're in town or you're 5 states away. We want to be able to get you. And if anybody would have told you, I'm going to go to the beach and I'm not gettable. Well, I'd call that person today unemployable.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a job like that. And that's what we've sacrificed. That's, and again, older people can remember a time when you went to the beach and you hung your phone up and you were, I love the phrase, out of touch.
Out of touch, yeah.
Remember that? Who's out of touch today?
Well, that's just it. Nobody's out of touch today, which again is now translating back into depression, anxiety,
Ooh,
stress.
yeah, thank you. That really needs to be emphasized on this show. Cost, the cost of what we're talking about. When you go to the altar of speed past what your body can handle, there's a cost. There's a cost to that. And I think that's important for our listeners to hear.
And evolution has not kept up with technology. And what I mean by that is it wasn't long ago, we were an agrarian society that God designed us that you get up when the sun comes up, you work hard all day long, and you go to bed when the sun goes down.
Right.
And guess what? We didn't have a lot of people struggling with ADD or ADHD or depression or anxiety because you had your own natural way of taking care of it. But today,
Was there back in the day, here's a good question, and probably there was, but a drug industry.
well, there was,
But it was
not
small, wasn't
yeah,
it?
right. I mean, again, old geezers like us,
I'm showing my age. I'm sorry, folks.
I can honestly say going through elementary school, junior high school, and even college, where Adderall is more used as a kind of a pet pill versus ADD. But I never knew one kid who, if they were diagnosed or were taking any type of stimulant for ADD or ADHD, I went through life without knowing what that.
No, I was only as I got older, boy, and I just saw people not only taking it, but falling from it, dying from it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that just seemed to be a line in the sand. That one day, this was nothing. The next day, people were dying from it. That threw me, how the speed at which that came up, the speed of painkillers, the speed of Adderall. I mean, it's just how deadly those are and how people knowingly know this is dangerous. They're doing it anyway.
Well, then that again, so we have to ask ourselves, what's happening in our society? What pain, because people don't use opioids, or abuse opioids, I should say, for pain, physical pain. So what are they trying to mask, or what pain are they trying to, I guess, not hide's the right word, but what pain are they trying to cover up?
Yeah.
And
the other side, Rick, is
society?
what I think in this is what are they trying to gain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I believe they're trying to gain is relief. I think when you speed things up, there's not much area for relief. You kind of have to go, back in the day, you had to kind of unplug. Remember that phrase?
Mm-hmm.
You need to unplug so you could recharge. Now it's like, no, you need to be more plugged in. You need to get more outlets. You need to do it faster. You need to do it stronger. Do you have enough outlets? And I think it's funny in our society, we have fewer restrooms and more outlets in homes. It wasn't unusual for somebody to have a house, 3-4 bedrooms and 1 bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and a few outlets, maybe 2 or 3 in the whole house. Now you go in the house, they got a bathroom for every room, and they've got 100 outlets. You got to have an outlet for your computer. You got to have an outlet for your phone. to recharge it, you got to have this outlet and that outlet, and you always got to be plugged in. And I think a piece of what we're saying in that's to have the speed we're talking about. And what we're talking about at the core is the cost of that. We're raising a red flag and saying, ew, man, this is costing. We might want to think about jacking it down a little bit. That may be at the core of what we're saying. It's important to have a timeout in your life. And it's important. You can't recharge plugged in.
Right. And like you said, again, going away from somewhat of the New Age concept, and there's nothing wrong with the practice of yoga if you know how to do yoga, but it doesn't have to be. It could be something as simple as reading a book. It could be something as simple. Now that it's starting to get dark earlier, I enjoy the dark earlier because now I take the dogs out for a walk at night. That's my downtime. That's just kind of enjoying the skies and
good recognition. And you grab onto that. You look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
You structure your life according to that. It doesn't just come to you. It gets darker, I'll just do all this. No, it's getting darker, and I have to choose to do this as a recharge, as a focused recharging element. I have to make that choice, a conscious, literal choice to do it this particular way. And if I do, I'm going to gain the benefit.
Yeah. And even those of you that have dogs, you know what it is to a natural way to just slow down. Just take your dog out for a walk, but let the dog do what the dog does. That means dogs have to smell scents. Dogs have to investigate. And so instead of pulling the dog over, go with the dog speed and see how helpful that is to you. To
the dog speed.
You go to the dog and let the dog be the one leading you on that walk. And if they want to spend some time smelling and sniffing around, that's okay. That's what they do, and that will be your kind of clock to slow down. And
but Rick, a piece of this we want to say is society is in your ear when you go dog walking. Get it done. You got 5 minutes to get this dog out there and get it done. And so you run the dog out there. Do your business. Come on, let's get back in. And put it in the cart and go.
So maybe what we're saying, it's time for all of us to start being more proactive in taking charge of our lives. And if we're saying we are stressed out, we are challenged with anxiety, we are challenged with depression, then again, the only person that's going to be able to make that change is self. And the only person that's going to be motivated to make that change is self. You can have people tell you all day long to be doing this, but until we make that decision that, okay, I heard them say about go to the dog speed. So tonight when I walk my dog, I'm going to go at dog speed. And if my dog wants to sniff for 5 minutes, I'm going to stand there, let it sniff. And then when we go to the next point, we may only go 20 yards.
But the important thing here, Rick, is you don't get in shape by doing one push-up or one set-up. Doing dog speed one time, okay, now everything will be better.
Right.
No. It's when people do push-up after push-up after push-up after push-up, set-up after set-up after, all of a sudden they look up and they're in shape. They're like, wow. That's the same thing we're talking about here. Dog walking speed. We're saying given time will increase the quality of your life. But we are not here about how to put another nickel in your pocket. People dying every day, and like people say all the time, I've never seen a Brinks truck behind a funeral.
Yes.
When you die, you gone. Everything you had is gone. And all you've striven for, oh boy, I got in here. And it's gone. And everybody we knew who were out there kicking it, they gone now. Whatever they did, done.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're trying to do in the here and now is to add quality. We're saying we think because of speed, the worship of speed, the quality of people's lives has gone down. And that's where we need to kind of get in the middle of saying, here's it. you know, that's one thing I can remember, you know, again, at my grandfather's age, that he made a conscious choice, and that was to go fishing. And so he'd get a cane pole. It wasn't this fancy stuff. It was a cane pole and a line and a hook and a worm. That was it. And he'd go out to the side of the pond and cast out and sit. And I used to think, wow, come on, let's get it done. Let's go, man. I hated when he said, let's go fishing. I thought, oh, and that was his decompression. He decompressed his life.
Right.
And he nurtured himself in doing that.
If he didn't catch one fish, he was still happy and satisfied.
It wasn't about catching a fish. I think it was like if he caught a fish, he's like, whoa.
What do I do with it? Yeah.
And now I got to have this, $2,000, pole. I got to cast it at a certain speed. I got to use this bait. I got to have this line. I got to, and I got to do it. That's what one of the things that just because he's a professional fisherman and watching with their speedboats out there, just like get it down, get as many fish as you can, get it back. Man with the most fish wins.
Yep.
And they make it competitive. And in that, subtly underneath, is the worship of time, of speed. How fast can you do it? How quickly can you get it done? And that's the better person. And I would love to see a contest, which would be good for TV, but who has the best inner peace, who can go out there and at the end of the day be tested for the best inner peace that they've gotten in that day. That would be a good contest. We'll never see it, but it'd be a good contest.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much advertisement, but it would be a good contest.
Yeah, buddy. Goodness gracious. That's, yeah. And we're just not, again, I don't believe that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with meditating, but these people who meditate for hours on end, oh wow, no, that's too much to the extreme. Just like go is too much to extreme. I think what we're talking about here is a balance of time and quality, balancing that. Having maybe you have to jack your time down a little bit to increase the quality, and in that you're going to find a balance of, I never hear people with a quality marriage having marriage problems. Now they may have problems with just deep relating to people, but they're thinking, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not looking to be married to somebody with perfection. I'm just wanting to feel that who we are has worth. Our children have worth. Our life has worth. And what we're saying here is that's not obtained with speed. That's just not. You can't go faster and get there. You've got to season the relationship. You've got to season the marriage. And here's probably the side of parenting is that people want to give it quality, but they tend to do it after the kids are gone. Oh, and like, well, why were you concerned about that when they were 3? It was about get it done, get here, quit that, do that, do that. They're just critics. And I think that it's a little out of whack there. That they should jack down the speed a little bit and be more focused on, am I living and creating? Am I choosing to live and create a quality life? And that focus is, I think, incredibly powerful. And we certainly want to encourage people to grab a hold of that, to make that conscious choice to slow down and increase the quality. I think that's very powerful to do. And I think every year we live right now, that's harder to do. But again, I think people are getting to the place of where the quality is so bad and the speed is so good. I think they're tired of that. I think, I'm tired of gray burgers thrown at me that look like they've been smashed and put in a bag so I can be here, do it a minute faster. I don't see them satisfied with that relationship.
Apple just came out with their iOS 12.
Oh,
And one of the things I noticed on that, though, was, of course, they got a new thing where you can look at your screen time and monitor your screen time, which is good. But the other thing was they're putting out these, I guess for lack of a better word, apps or kind of like the Alexa skill sets. And one of the things you can set up on your iPhone now is to go into a do not disturb until you either leave a location. I'm sorry, Alexa, I wasn't talking to you. Go into your do not disturb until you leave a certain area or something. But someone is recognizing that, we need to also be putting in these these forced boundaries. Because I used to always just sometimes put my phone on airplane mode.
Yeah,
which would take everything off. And
yeah, see, there's a difference between Rick and I. He put it on airplane mode. I just turned the dang thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was really reluctant. It took me years to even buy a cell phone. I said I do not like, and now I think about. I used to drive from Greenville to Atlanta and back every other weekend, and no cell phone. Never think anything about it. Now, if I get on the phone and travel 2 or 3 blocks and I don't have my phone, oh no, what would happen?
Yep.
What if I broke down? I mean, I'm just crisis. It's created an environment of crisisness. And I'm like, golly dang, this is just crazy. And so the other day I got in my car and purposely turned my phone off and left it at the house and said, I'm going to go do this. And if I break down, so be it. I'll learn and adjust and work through it. And then nothing's crazier than watching old movies and thinking, boy, those cars were just rickety. And people would travel in them. You're thinking, wow, how did they survive? And I think about the times I can remember going across country in Oklahoma to a college, and my car broke down. And my friend and I had to get out and hitchhike to the college. And people were like, you did what? And I said, well, either that or sit out in the country.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah, I had that experience.
And so, we hitchhiked all the way home because we didn't have any transportation. Nobody was going to take us. There's no such thing as Uber. And even if there was, we were broke, so we couldn't have afforded that. But that's what you did to get what you needed to get and how you got it to work. And we have become so dependent on that kind of stuff. And I don't know that things are better because of it. Again, I think whatever it is, it needs to be monitored. You need to look and say, too much candy and ice cream are good, but if that's all you eat,
yeah,
you're going to be sick. It's having the proper balance of all these elements. And I was even watching Dr. Oz the other day, and that's what he said. He said, it's not so much about what you eat, it's the arrangement of what you eat and how much of it you eat. That it's a good variation of different things. It's a good amount of things. And I said, then your body is meant to absorb that and work with that. But when you put a whole bunch of crud in there with a whole bunch of chemicals in there, and your body rejects that and rejects you for doing that to it, well, don't be surprised. And what we're saying here today is if you keep speeding up your life, thinking it's going to increase quality, we want people to know today, no, it's just the opposite. The faster you get, the first thing you tend to sacrifice is quality. You have to lower quality to increase speed in most situations. I don't know that's all situations, but in so many of what I see out there, that's the case. As we've gotten faster, our quality has gone down the tube. It's not been good.
And balance that's the whole key right there to life. And because anytime we deprive ourselves of a piece of chocolate, we just want that piece of chocolate even more.
Yeah, get you for that chocolate.
But if we say, after lunch or dinner, I'm going to break off a piece of chocolate, guess what? You don't think about what you don't have. And so if we deprive ourselves of anything, so you're right. we just have to learn to slow down a little bit, improve quality. And it does improve quality in our relationships, it improves quality in our self awareness, it improves quality in our own physical health. Again, we're learning each day, we learn more and more about what stress does to the human body. And I think we're now, first time in history, where life expectancy has gone down in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
And a lot of that is driven by the stress and all the cortisol we're releasing and not balancing that out. And so it is just, yeah, I guess we'll just call it that. It's learning to go at the dog's pace. So
I like that. I like that thought there, Rick. I think that's right. You know, we need to be dog walking in our lives.
Yeah, dog walking our lives.
But see, if I want a bigger house and better car and more money in my bank account, see, then dog walking that doesn't play well. You know, dog running and pulling the dog. I don't think that's a great analogy. I love that just I put that picture out there and I'm thinking that poor dog, and I see that all the time, being yanked through a walk, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good about that. I'm sorry for that dog. It's just so nasty. But that's what we're doing with our lives because we're trying to just let it'll all work out. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, because we got somebody seems like always yanking our collar, pulling us.
Oh, well, that'll preach. You be your collar yanked. There ought to be a sermon called "Don't let your collar be yanked."
Yep.
Because we got a lot of collar yankers out there, buddy. And boy, that and nobody ever tells you that when they're hiring you that I'm a collar yanker. They don't ever tell you that. But boy, you start working someplace, they got you in the door, and they are going to be yanking they're going to be pulling you, and you're never going to go fast enough. I'm trying to think of working for somewhere, and I can't believe I've ever worked for anywhere where the speed I was going was the right speed.
Mm-hmm.
Always faster, always more, always better. Go, 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 go. And I can remember when I worked in the trucking industry years ago that people would go out in their trunk, people that work there, and take amphetamines and wash it down with hot gin. And I'm like, dang, man,
Yeah.
and that's what they had to do to jack up and to do it and to go every day and to get it done. That's what it took. And we're just asking people to count the cost. When you speed up, it's not for free. It's not for free to speed up your life. It is not for free to speed up your marriage. It is not for free to speed up your child raising. Get them raised. Because there's going to be a time where they're going to be out the door and you're not going to be happy with that. I want to get them back in and there's no getting back in. It's sad. It's a sad commentary to see people do that, but I see that every day, and so we got to look at where we, and back to, are we dog walking at the right speed of our life, and do we have balance? That's really what we're talking about on the porch today. We're encouraging people to balance out and to have a reasonable dog walking cycle in your life. But that does not come by just letting it go. You've got to make a conscious choice. You've got to create a structure that holds you to that. It's one thing to want to lose weight. It's different to have a schedule of weight loss.
Exactly. And so we're saying those conscious decisions are getting home and then saying, still being stressed out, and you want to get right back on Facebook and spend the evening on Facebook in front of the TV, or do you want to ask your wife or husband, you want to go out and walk tonight and talk? And these are the things that we have the control over. And
and another thing there I think is deceptive is what we've turned a leisurely walk is let's go take a mountain trip.
yeah,
let's go climb up a mountain.
Yeah, do
It's like
25-mile hike, or yeah.
yeah. Then people, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna have a relaxing weekend. What are you gonna do? Oh, we're gonna climb this mountain. Really? Again, Dr. Phil, how's that working for you? Doesn't that wear you out? Doesn't that just tear you up? You know, do you really feel refreshed? Or are you just telling people you're refreshed as a way of making them feel good? You know, that there's nothing refreshing in humping it. You know, let's people, I'm humping it, I did this. You know, like here we have what's called the Swamp Rabbit Trail, where people walk and ride their bike. And boy, you just don't see a lot of people leisurely riding their bike along. They hit it. They going the whole way, miles going. They get sweat coming off of them. And I had a leisurely ride on the rabbit trail. Really? No, I think you just, you know, kept the motor running.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and eventually it's going to break down. You just can't keep running a motor and doing more and more speed, keeping it going, and thinking, well, I'll put a little oil in it and it'll all work out. No, at some point, it's going to wear out and break down. And we're saying, you know, there's a correct operating structure. There is a correct operating speed that your equipment is set up for. And finding that and sticking to it makes all the difference in the world. You know?
Yep. So as we close today, I guess we're just going to ask everyone to get that picture in your mind. Even if you don't have a dog, when you go walking,
imaginary dog.
Imaginary dog.
Get your imaginary dog on a leash.
Yeah, sniffing and investigating. And yep, you don't have to set any records to do a walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's no stopwatch on a dog walk.
Yep. And we will pick up next week. We'll let you guys know when we go on our road trip to these fast food restaurants and check out their pictures versus the actual food. Anything else, Roger, as we close?
Just, you know, encouraging people to structure and make the hard choices. And quality and speed do not go together unless you have balance. And I love the dog walking idea. That is so on point. And we need to, if you don't have a dog, create an imaginary dog. And, you know, learn the difference between a speed walk and strolling. There's a big difference.
All right. Well, with that said, we'll see everybody next Tuesday. As they say, same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh, there we go. There's a little Batman reference.
Yeah. For those of you guys out there who even know what I'm talking about. All right. Let's see.